This conference will now be recorded.
Hello? Yes, Soumya, Shailaja. Wait for 2-3 minutes, madam. So other two people will join.
Hi Subbu. Hi all.
Okay.
Yeah, we can join, madam. Okay.
I hope I'm audible. I can see here a number of people have been joined here, like Jivaratnam, Nagraj, Jason, Soumya. Correct? Is there anyone else need to be joined here? We have to wait, or shall we start? Okay, fine.
Madam, can
So,
take introduction. So one more guy can join. Soumya.
okay, okay, fine. So, we are here to discuss about AWS. Before starting with this AWS, let me give a brief introduction about myself. My name is Suman. I'm from past 5 years. I have been working as a DevOps and cloud engineer. So, and simultaneously, I used to. It's my passion to teach actually. So that is the reason I used to take 1 or 2 sessions. Before starting with this AWS, I just wanted to have a brief introduction from your guys as well. Like, what exactly you guys are right now doing? Are you working? If so, on which platform you're working? If not, what exactly are you completed just now an engineering course like that? Shall we start?
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, Nagraj, you can
Ah,
go ahead.
okay. Okay. Hi, Suman. Myself, Jiva. Okay. I'm in IT field last 10 years. I'm in purely into Unix platform. Okay. Last year, I'm 10 years. I'm purely into the infrastructure side. I'm not a
Okay,
part of any cloud environment. So right now, I got opportunity to work on cloud platform. I got a new project. So I thought of learn some AWS services and all. So I am planning
okay,
to join there. Mm.
fine. On which in which company you are working right now? May I know?
Uh, Currently working in TCS.
Okay, fine. Are they using AWS cloud platform or Azure kind of thing?
No, they are using AWS.
Okay, fine. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the info.
Sure.
Next person, please.
Hi, Suman.
Yes. Hi, Silaja.
Hi, I have completed my MTech recently only, and one of my in mechanical stream, and my one of my friends suggested that the AWS is the best course. So I just want to learn. I don't know anything regarding basics about the AWS. Recently, I searched only 2 to 3 videos regarding IAM and S3. So, I mean, I think it's a basic tool. Is required any programming language for it, or or
Yeah, I'll
any?
I'll come to that point. Okay, once after getting info from all of you guys, that is the reason I'm
Okay,
asking you guys. Okay. Thank you,
okay, thank
Silaja.
you.
Yeah. Soumya, please.
Hi, Suman.
Yes, yes, yes. Please go ahead.
Hello, I'm audible.
Yeah, yeah. Little bit
Okay.
faster, please, because we should not waste other time also. Fine. Yeah, Soumya, please
Uh,
continue.
present I am working in GIS role in RMSA company. Just I want to learn AWS. Just that.
Okay. Who else? Bhagavi, Jesna. Come on, guys. Okay. Fine, I didn't get any reply from you guys. Whenever if you guys are audible, please do reply. Okay, I'll just start with this a brief introduction or demo session of this AWS actually. Let me know once the screen is visible. Okay, I'm just trying to share the screen. Entire screen share. Okay, hope it is visible, right? I just opened an Word document, text editor document over here. Fine. So actually, when you talk about the cloud platform, what exactly the cloud platform is? Anyone have any idea? Why we need this
Also,
kind of thing? I think Jeevaratna can explain very well about this. Correct, Jiva?
Yes, Suman, but sorry to say this. Actually, I'm here today. I'm going to be a listener, okay? Because I'm in
Fine, fine,
another
fine.
meeting. Okay, simultaneously,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
taking
Fine,
the class.
Jiva. Yeah, I can understand. Okay, no issues.
Okay, thank
So
you.
basically, here I'm going to explain a little bit for it should be very understandable for the beginners also. Hope maybe for few moments or few minutes you feel bored, Jiva. Okay. Okay, fine. So actually, whenever we are executing, or for example, any platform you can take, any site you can take, for example, facebook.com. Okay, here you can see the number of people are going to enter their data. It might be of kind of video, audio, text messages, anything, right? So all those data, where it will be stored, are they that data is going to be stored in your mobile phone, or if you're accessing that web facebook.com from your laptop, is it stored in your laptop local disk? Soumya? Sorry. Yes. See, this is not going to be
no,
stored in
ma'am.
your local system or a laptop, okay, local mobile phone. They are actually going to maintain their own databases, something called databases or servers, okay. These are databases are nothing but the servers itself, which are responsible for providing an application to the users, and also they are responsible for storing the data. If we are using a particular servers for storing the data, which will be termed, I'm just giving you a high level of information. Okay, that will be termed as a databases. In the servers, whatever as the number of users are going to increase for a particular application like Facebook kind of thing, the data which is going to be stored on this particular service is going to be increased. See, when we are going to maintain a server physically, it's going to be occupy a space. It requires maintenance, human maintenance required, and also, I mean, like that is what human power, and also like it should be containing like 24 by 7 monitoring. We have to take care of that server, whether it is working fine or not, whether the people are can able to access that particular site or not, when the number of users are increasing, how it is supporting that particular application. You might be observed, see, whenever we used to get our results on that particular time, when government announces on that on this particular time, at that point of time we are announcing the result, then site will get stuck. The most of the people are unable to access that particular information, correct? The reason is the load on the server is going to be increased. Okay, that is the reason the people are unable to access that particular site at that point of time. So what exactly happening here inside the servers? We actually, whenever we use these physical servers, that is of kind fixed configuration. Fixed configuration in the sense, nothing but like, for example, let's say CPU, how many CPUs are configured, disk space, okay, RAM size, everything is of kind fixed one. Okay, once we select, that's done. We can't increase or decrease kind of thing. I'll tell you, okay, later. You just try to listen, and then if you have any doubts, ask me. Okay, fine. So what will happen here when the application increases, when the number of users are increases using this Facebook, the data on this particular server is going to be increased. Then it might be reached to a stage when it reaches CPU utilization and all 80% of the utilization. Okay, and then here what will happen, the people are unable to access that particular site. That is the reason we are moving towards something where I should instantly, when this CPU performance or utilization increases more than 70%, I should get either it has to be increased, the disk space has to be enhanced, or I should get another server with the same configuration. Means what will happen, I'm going to distribute the load traffic between the servers. So in this way, the people or the user can able to access that particular site. Okay, that how we can do. With the physical servers we can't do at that spontaneous time. SF, I can't purchase a physical server, I can't configure each and everything, right? So that is the reason cloud platform came into picture. Okay, so what will happen, so this is just whatever the example I have given right now. This is just a one feature, or you can say one advantage what we will get from the cloud platform. We will be having worse kind of advantages when you move your on-premise infrastructure to the cloud platform. Why people selected this AWS only? We do have different kind of cloud platforms in the market, like Google we have, Azure also we have. Okay, Google is a thing which is provided by sorry, GCP, which is provided by Google, and Azure, which is provided by Microsoft. Okay, and this AWS is provided by Amazon. Okay, actually in the market it came into picture in 2006 itself almost. Okay, it's been 15-16 years it's into a market, and it has more experience compared to these cloud platforms in the sense, experience in the sense in dealing with the what kind of issues users are going to get when they are using cloud platform, and the level of security, level of number of resources they are providing, number of services they are providing, day by day they used to increase. If you are going to learn AWS right now, I'm not going to give you a guarantee like it's going to stay with you lifespan. No, you have to be updated day by day. See, they are going to conduct number of what do you say, conferences and all, where they are going to discuss it, like what kind of services they are launching, what kind of resources they are launching, how to make use of that. So day by day, it's going to get changed actually. Okay, so remember that whatever service you are going to learn, this is going to be, you have to be updated with that particular thing. It's not compulsory that whatever the content I am sharing, I'm not going to I'm sure that it's not going to be the same after 1 year. Okay, so you have to be, yeah, whatever the content right now I'm sharing, this is related to present whatever the services we are having right now in the AWS. Okay, yeah, I'm not degrading these two cloud platforms. They are also very good and they are becoming the best, there's no doubt. But what will happen, the number of services or the resources whatever they are providing, they are little less compared to this AWS. See, when we are what is the most important thing for any organization or company? What is that? That's a client's data, users data. When I said that when I'm moving complete infrastructure from on premises to the cloud, that is nothing but we are playing with the users data also. If we lost data, then nothing we will left with. Okay, so remember, so when we wanted to move such kind of things or migrate such kind of big when we wanted to take such kind of big decisions, we want to make sure that I should get everything. I mean, like in the sense in terms of resources, in terms of services, in terms of availability, in terms of durability, in terms of what do you say, security, everything I need at the high level, I mean topmost level, which is already we are getting from the AWS. So that is the reason most of the people will select AWS, I feel actually. Okay. And then this is all about the different kind of cloud platforms which we have in the market, and we'll sorry. Okay. So we are here. You can see aws.amazon.com. When you navigate this one, you will get this AWS platform where you can create your own AWS account, which is available for free of cost for 1 year. Not exactly free of cost, depending on the few services are only available for free of cost, not all the services, and that too for limited access. Okay. Now here, before starting with this AWS, let me show you, case you one more thing.
Suman,
Yeah.
Suman, your screen is not visible.
Now it's not visible. One second.
Yes.
Check it out now.
Yes, now visible.
Okay. Okay. So I just navigated to a site aws.amazon.com/certification where you will get information related to the certification. Notice there's nothing but you can, if you're pretty much sure that you have a good knowledge in AWS, you can go for the certification. You can clear. That will give you a weightage to your resume also. That is one more important thing. When you just come down here, we have something called a roadmap. A roadmap is nothing but a glance, like what exactly we are learning and what are all the different kind of things which are provided by this AWS. Okay, we have something called at the bottom level. You can see the cloud practitioner. Okay, this is actually a foundational level, you can say. For example, a person who is not at all having any kind of IT related knowledge, like what is this server, what is this image or operating system, those kind of people can go with this cloud practitioner. But I don't feel that everyone should go this one. The person, if you have a little bit of computer knowledge, that's enough for this to understand. We have three different kind of categories over here, like architect level, operations level, and developer level. For example, if a person is already working as a developer, that person should also wanted to be a developer on the cloud AWS platform, cloud platform, that person should go with this kind of thing, like AWS certified developer associate level. This level is a first level, that is called as a associate level. If a person already working as a test engineer or Linux administrator or a different kind of administrative level, operations side, maintenance side, production side, those people, if they are interested towards operation side only, but the only instead of on premise, they are going to work on a cloud platform, then that person should adopt this kind of category, that is AWS certified sysops administrator associate level. Means why they are categorized means, as I told you, there are number of services or resources provided from AWS. More than 150 resources are there. When I started my career as a professional trainer or lecturer, you can say, there were only 65 kind of services, but now it has been increased more than 100%. So this is how they are rapidly growing actually in the market. So based on the category, we are going to learn the respective resources or the services provided by AWS. We are not going to learn each and every resource. Okay. If I'm going to adopting this category sysops administrator, I'm going to learn the respective services or resources only, not other things which are related to developer kind of thing. Okay. Now we have another category. You can see AWS certified solutions architect associate, a person who is having good communication skills or who is good at managing with the clients, or who is interested towards this architecting the infrastructure, and the organization level strategies and all. This is like a generalized one. Any person can go with this solutions architect. It's not compulsory that only testers should go, only developers should go. No, any person who are interested towards this architecting, that person can go this for this AWS certified solution architect associate level. At present, whatever I'm dealing right now, which is related to this AWS certified solution architect associate. Let me clear, guys. If any one of you looking for developer or operation side, then this is not suitable for you. Okay, please go Google it out, do some R&D, what is this and all, try to understand. And if this course or the content whatever I'm gonna share, if it suits you, then only go forward. Okay, now let's say I'm the person who is who cleared the solution architect associate level, then only I can go for the solution architect professional level. For example, if I clear the certificate of associate solution architect, then I want to be a DevOps engineer professional. Then it's not possible. You can't switch like this. You have to clear either SysOps administrator or developer, then only you can be a like DevOps engineer professional. Okay, we do have other specialties like inside that towards this advanced networking, data analysis, IoT, machine learning, security related stuff. Okay, if whatever I explained up to now, if it is not clear, please let me know, because this is a basic stuff. You should have a knowledge like what exactly we are gonna learn. Everyone say like I'm here to learn every AWS, or we are here to go with this AWS. What exactly AWS is? What kind of categories we do have? So that is very important to understand. Is it going to suit you guys or not? That is very important. Okay, if it is not clear, please tell me right now. I'm here to explain once again, no issues.
Sorry, Suman, I missed out the last point. Can you repeat what we are going to learn here? I mean, in your class, what you going to cover?
AWS Solution Architect Associate
Solution
level.
architect. Okay, that's
Yes,
good.
Solution Architect. That's a associate level, not the professional level.
Associate level. Okay, that's what
Yes,
I'm looking for.
this
Thank
one. Yeah, this one.
Associate. Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah. And the course content I do have, which is related to the almost the resources which are related to solutions architect, like EC2, IAM, VPC, S3 buckets, some of the databases. I'll give you a glance. AWS resources. Let me join this one second, guys. 1 second. Give me 1 minute. Sorry, guys. Yeah, let me log in into my AWS account. To PY 7. See, when I just logged in, this is how the AWS account looks like. When you click on this services button, you will be getting the number of services which are provided by this AWS. See how it has been increased. When I started, only few services were there, but very happy to see these improvements are here. Okay, inside this compute, we are going to see like EC2, like whatever the things which are related to this solutions architect. Those are all things only I'm going to deal. I'm going to share this course content to Subbu. and he's going to share with you guys. Okay, please drop your email addresses to him so that he can share, and you guys can go through it. And if it is okay for you, we can go ahead. Fine. Like we have this compute EC2 Lambda will give you an introduction, and storage we have this like S3. We'll do labs on this S3. We'll give you an introduction regarding this EFS. What is this like S3 Glacier and all databases? We are going to see like RDS, DynamoDB, and we were having only 4 databases, but now Amazon QLDB, this is a new, and DocumentDB, TimeStream, MemoryDB, these are all the 5 databases which are newly introduced. Okay, but I'm going to go with this whatever which is related to solution architect, and based on the certification I'm going to actually uh, use to take a session. The most of the questions which are come from which services, those services I will give you most importance. Okay, so that when you go for certification also, it should not be very difficult for you guys to read the white papers which are provided by AWS. Inside networking and content delivery, we have this VPC and ROD 53. Okay, and yeah, most of the services I just listed out. I'll share with you. Actually, I plan to prepare for this demo, but my office hour has been extended. We just stuck with some issues, and like AWS cost management, how you have to keep an eye on the resources, what kind of resources you are using, how to create a budget, how to create an alert. Okay, each and everything we are going to discuss over here. We have lots of stuff over here like IAM. Uh, I'll show you guys. Okay. See. Maybe I don't. I might be deleted the EC2 server. Instance is running. Okay, I might be deleted. Fine. So this is how you will be having Elastic Compute Cloud. Is it was nothing but, so where we are going to create number of servers and all. So in the same way, we will be having number of servers which we are going to make use over here to build our own infrastructure on the cloud platform. You can see this is a radio button which is going to give you a new EC2 experience. That is nothing but new user interface which is provided by AWS. If you are going to off this radio button, it will be like older style. This is the one which I started one which I learned, and I started my career with this. Now it has been more to this kind of new experience. Okay, so that is the reason I'm telling you. It's not compulsory that the whatever the content I'm sharing, it's going to be long lasting. Sorry. Make sure that every time you are in touch with the subject. Okay, what kind of introduction they are doing, what kind of new announcement they are introducing, everything you have to be keep an eye. See, products. Just try to read it out. AWS Cloud spans 81 availability zones within 25 geographic regions around the world, with announced plans for 27 more availability zones and 9 more AWS regions in Australia, Canada, India, Indonesia, Israel, New Zealand, Spain, Switzerland, United Arab Emirates. In 6 months back itself, it was like 15 more availability zones and 3 more AWS regions kind of thing. India was not the part of that time. 6 months back, I'm talking about. See how it has been drastically changing. Means they are, what is this availability zone? The place where they are providing you the data centers. See, I have said that in the fraction of seconds, I'm going to create a server, but where that server will be located? That server is going to be managed by AWS team. So that is called actually availability zone. All over the world, it has been implemented. Okay, we'll see what is this exactly availability zone, regions, what is the difference between this availability zone and region. Okay, Everything we are going to discuss. Fine. Is there anything else you guys wanted to know? Let me know, guys, please. Done?
Okay, Suman, I'm good.
Okay. Okay.
Suman, a small
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Is
Sure.
it necessary? I mean, Linux is necessary for AWS?
No, no, yeah, thanks for asking. Actually, for the few sessions, I'm going to take the Linux for almost 1 week. 5 to 6 sessions, I'm going to take Linux basics so that if anyone is not having any idea on this Linux, they should get the basic idea on this Linux. Because we are not sure, almost 99% we are going to launch the servers which are based on the Linux itself, right? Like it might be of CentOS, it might be of Ubuntu, it might be of Debian, or it might be of Linux. So it's better, it's very good if you guys are having a little bit of Linux knowledge. If not, also no issues. I'm going to take a basic Linux sessions, 5 to 6 sessions on that before starting AWS.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Yes. Is there anything else? Bhargavi, Soumya, Jesna.
No, Suman, from my end, all good.
Oh, okay. Thank you, guys. I'll share the content, course content. Please go through it and let me know. Okay. Fine.
Okay, Suman, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.